Even though the year just started, we already have a pretty good look at the entire iPhone 17 lineup, including the all-new ultra-slim iPhone 17 Air, as well as the revamped Pro models with a new design. But aside from the way that these phones look, what else is Apple changing? Why would you actually want to buy these? Not just because they look different, but because of the features Apple's been working on. Well, there's quite a lot. Today, I want to show you the 7 big changes Apple is making across the iPhone 17 lineup, because while some of these things are just cool, others are features we have been waiting for years, and I can't believe they are finally happening now. Starting off first at number 1, Apple is finally adding 120Hz ProMotion displays to every iPhone 17 across their lineup. In fact, if there's one rumor we have heard about the iPhone 17 more than anything else, it is this, that Apple is finally eliminating 60Hz displays from their flagship iPhones, and whether you're spending $800 or $1,300, you're going to get their smooth screen tech on every model. I mean, honestly, I don't have much more to add here other than Apple was chronically late to adding this to their more affordable models, and it's just a situation where I'm glad it is finally here after we waited so long to see it. Although the second big change for the iPhone 17 generation I think will really define this year for the iPhone, and that is Apple introducing a new model for the first time since 2022, when Apple got rid of the Mini and they replaced it with the Plus size. Here's the thing with the plus-sized iPhone though, it just hasn't sold that well, and when you account for all iPhone sales, models, and SKUs globally, it's only about 10 to 15% of all the models, which is not an even distribution that Apple would want to see. So in the background, they've been working on something else, a completely new idea, a new type of iPhone that they've never tried before, and something that they think will sell better than the Plus, and that, according to rumors, is the iPhone 17 Air. It's set to be a design-first phone built from the ground up, and unlike any iPhone before it. Rumors are now saying it's going to be about 5.5 millimeters thick, which for context, here's a look at how thick the iPhone Air will be next to a current Pro model. But even in showing this comparison and quoting the exact thickness, I don't think people realize how ridiculous this phone is going to look. In your hand, it's going to feel closer to a piece of paper than a phone. And initially, we thought this meant that the iPhone 17 Air would become Apple's new ultra-premium, most expensive model, starting at $1,500 or more. That was the initial rumors, but since then we've heard something different. According to new reports, the iPhone 17 Air is expected to start at the same $899 price point of the previous Plus model. So Apple's essentially just swapping them in the lineup and trying something new for the same price. Which, when you zoom out and look at the full picture of this phone, makes a lot of sense. It only has a single camera on the back. It's so thin it'll likely have the worst battery life, and on the inside it has the regular A19 chip instead of the A19 Pro. Not to mention, probably the biggest controversy with this phone is going to be the fact that it does not have a physical SIM tray, which leads us into the third big change on the iPhone 17. As rumors say that in more markets than ever, Apple is planning to eliminate the physical SIM tray and replace it with their electronic-only SIM technology. Essentially, we're hearing that Apple, to achieve this design, just could not include a physical SIM tray at all on the iPhone 17 Air, and even on phones that are thicker, they're just removing it for the sake of putting less physical parts on the iPhone and freeing up more space internally. Which, if you live in the US like me, is something we've had for a while. We're super used to it, but it is not something as readily available in a lot of other countries, especially places like China or in many parts of Europe. To be fair, I've always had a great experience with eSIM, but how Apple plays this and how they market a phone without a SIM is It's gonna be really interesting. Now, I talk a lot about Apple products, but what I don't talk a lot about is cooking, and that's why I partnered up with HelloFresh, who sponsored today's video. Listen, I have the hardest time getting food that I like, and that is where HelloFresh comes in. HelloFresh is a meal kit service that delivers step-by-step recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. Not only is this so convenient, it also means you're not wasting food because you're ordering exactly what you need. And the quality of the food is ridiculous. Every time I get one of these boxes, I swear it's better than anything I find in the grocery store. With HelloFresh, you get to choose from 50 delicious weekly recipes carefully put together by their chefs. There's options for carnivores, vegetarians, calorie counters, and everybody in between. I confidently say that because I'm pretty picky, and HelloFresh now offers these build-a-plate meals where you can let each family member customize the toppings on their plate to suit their own taste. So click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring, they're America's #1 meal kit. Now, let's get back to the video. But moving to number 4 on this list, Apple removing the SIM tray isn't even the weirdest thing they're doing this year. It's actually on the Pro models that Apple is said to be getting rid of the new titanium material that isn't even 2 years old at this point. Yeah, this is a strange one. For months now, sources have been continually saying that Apple is going to either completely get rid of titanium on the Pro models this year or use a blend of aluminum and titanium together and where there's way less titanium than is currently used. Again, odd considering that Apple's whole marketing push for the iPhone 15 Pro is that your phone was made of titanium, it was more durable and scratch resistant than stainless steel while still giving your phone a light and premium design. Yeah, I'm just as confused as you. I have no idea why Apple's doing this. No one seems to know why they're going to a cheaper material on their most expensive phones, but that is just what we are hearing, and it's a strange change to say the least. Perhaps it leads into the 5th change on the iPhone 17s this year, which is that the back of the Pro iPhones has a completely different look than prior. Rather than the entire back being made out of glass as it has been since 2019, Apple's switching it to a half aluminum, half glass design, where the upper part of the phone containing the new horizontal cameras will be aluminum and the bottom part is glass for wireless charging. But Apple's not just changing this to make it look a little bit different. The camera system itself is going to be massively upgraded, as all 3 lenses on the Pro models will now be the 48 megapixel sensor system that gives you a significant image quality enhancement over the standard 12 megapixels Apple has offered. They first started the rollout with the wide camera in 2022, then they added it to the ultra wide in 2024, and now in 2025 the telephoto will have this too, so your 5x shots are going to look even better now. And in addition, the iPhone 17 Pro could also support a variable aperture for the first time, at least according to one report. This would mark a major camera improvement on the iPhone, as it would allow you to create a natural depth of field between the background and your subject, giving you this really cool bokeh effect of blur that you traditionally only see on expensive DSLRs. To be clear, this is not 100% confirmed on the iPhone 17 Pro, but it does seem likely considering Apple is doing this camera bar redesign for a reason. This brings us to the 6th big change for 2025. Flip the Pros around and we see a smaller dynamic island. Apple is finally said to be doing this on the Pros, and now we're hearing potentially on that Air model as well. Now, to be fair, it is not confirmed to be happening on the Air, but at least on both the iPhone 17 Pro and the iPhone 17 Pro Max, Apple is going to shrink it down, maybe centering the camera and changing the way Dynamic Island works a bit. As for the first time, a new meta lens technology would allow Apple to place the Face ID sensor array actually under the display itself, which would free up room to make the island smaller. That being said, even though Apple's not adding the smaller Dynamic Island on the base iPhone 17, Apple is increasing the resolution of the front-facing camera on all models from 12 to 24 megapixels. So front-facing photos and videos are going to essentially look twice as good as they do currently. Okay, this brings us to the 7th big change Apple's planning for the iPhone 17, and I think it's probably the most underrated of the entire bunch. It's Apple putting more Apple design components into the iPhone than ever before. Like currently, Apple already does this with their own chips. The A-series processors in the iPhone are designed by Apple for the iPhone specifically, giving them a huge lead industry-wide on performance and efficiency. It's why every year, for as long as I can remember now, the iPhone is the fastest phone you can buy, because they're not relying on a third party to come up with their specs. They're just doing it themselves. So why has Apple never done this with other parts of the iPhone? See, this year that's all changing. On the iPhone 17 Air, it's going to be Apple's first flagship phone with an Apple-designed 5G modem made in-house with good performance and really good efficiency, increasing battery life. And on the iPhone 17 Pros, Apple's going to debut their in-house Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip, so the efficiency of Apple's silicon is going to come to one of the most power-intensive parts of the phone, the Wi-Fi or the cellular modem. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that initially the performance of Apple stuff is going to be the same or like slightly less than everybody else. But in 4 or 5 years from now, that's the real story. Apple's modems in their phones are going to be the best in the world. Apple's Wi-Fi Bluetooth chip is going to be the best in the world for efficiency. Frankly, it's genius. They're just taking the Apple Silicon playbook and slowly applying it to every other part of the iPhone, which is going to be better for investors as profit margins will go up. It's better for users as the experience will be better, and of course, for Apple to have more control. There is nothing they like more than controlling every aspect of the iPhone as much as they can. This is one of the 7 other major changes from the 120Hz displays, all new types of models and designs, and upgrades across the board to core aspects of the iPhone that we're seeing all at once later this year with the iPhone 17. So make sure to subscribe in case you haven't already for more iPhone 17 videos, and I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, drop a like. Super helps me and the channel out. Okay, I've been Sam. I hope all of you are doing well. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.